Okay.
لآخر الزمان أبحروا يا
Oh my
شباب
god.
نحو أحلامنا
Oh my god.
واصبروا فالصعاب من أمامنا كنا أفرقا فجمعنا الوفاء إصرارنا عزمنا والإخاء.
We are. What's up, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, fantastic afternoon, fantastic evening, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is awesome. Our broadcast coming to you live from hazy, cloudy.
All right. I'll be back in a second. I just want to get some food.
Not so cold. California, Los Angeles, folks. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and Emmys are having a fantastic month because today is a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is yet another phenomenal day. Ladies and gentlemen, it is January 17th, 2024 on this fan-frickin-tastic Wednesday. It's Wednesday. And I'm live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. Today's an awesome day. Today is yet another Wednesday. Now, this is the part of the broadcast where I will quickly dive into my personal news about what's going on in the life of Hassan Hasanabi Piker. Okay? That's right. We're live, we're alive, and today is another day. Goddamn, you're so hot. Thank you for saying that, Lily Willy. Why don't you best use some bitches? Nice. Anyway, day 2 of my COVID isolation. Thanks for the fun stream as always. Yep. I try to make it as entertaining and educational as possible while doing a little bit of humanization on the side. But yes. We're live. Is this the polo shirt week? I've been, trying to improve my wardrobe a little bit, trying to look a little bit more adult. That's right. When you bring the stash back is a great question. As a matter of fact, I was very close. I was this close to actually shaving this morning. Some of you watch the Instagram stories, I suspect, but it's far too cold out here in California for me to shave. Kai's doing wonderful. What a great question. I need dating advice. Maybe later. Folks. I'm live. I'm alive. This is not the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal. This is the industrially ravaged Los Angeles Canal. Look at this, bro. Look, I got like a hot helper. Dude, let's go. Wait, I got straws here, don't worry. Yeah, Todd, come say what up. Dude, this is my house muscle hunk.
Oh, Tarek's here.
He just I hired him to buy me snacks and trees and shit. Yeah.
All right. Anyone else for SAP?
Anyway,
I'm just waiting for my toast to be done. And I have to re-put it in again because it takes 2.5 full runs of the toaster to toast this toast.
Hoth, did you do a drip stream recently? I submitted a few months ago and I didn't hear anything about it. I have yet to do a drip stream because I'm waiting for our buddy Wisdom to align. And we haven't been able to yet. But anyway, folks, we were just working out earlier this morning. Okay.
Polo, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a great stream.
Overall, I do think that
There's one space open for SAP. Thanks,
I'm
Polo.
a little sick. I'm a little under the weather, but I feel like my beard has gotten to a point where it's maybe a little too long and it makes my face look fat. No, I don't like that. That's why I was gonna shave it and keep only the stash. When will Elwig do a video on you like he did the miscue about the open door policy, fake friend? I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, regardless, One Piece updates. No, I'm gonna give you a One Piece update once I'm actually done with the arc that I'm on. I want to do a One Piece update with the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Owens himself. Stash only make you look racist. Don't do it, brother. I think I need to look as racist as I can. Like,
all right.
I need to. Like, this is a part
Anyone
of the
else? No other
right?
person
Like,
wants to
I
join?
need to look more like a hog and look more like an American racist so that American racists will listen to me. You know what I mean? Like, I think the beard maybe makes me look a little too ethnic. It's something that I have to think about as like a media person, I guess. Is like,
okay,
is the beard making me look too ethnic? And therefore, how can I look more like I'm an American white supremacist? Especially if I put the beard on and the beanie on, all of a sudden everyone's like, bro, you have the fucking Muslim cleric situation going on. You know? You have a One Piece update, actually, pirate friends? Yes, I've made friends with a pirate, but like not really a pirate, but a pirate. Get a white sheet, that should do it. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Grow all the way out and wear a turban to really get them seething. I can't believe you have to look like a hog to be acceptable. Listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's not the worst thing. I'll be honest, the beard does make you look more
Wait,
ethnic,
what? James
Jr.'s
good?
More of a fan of
What is
course,
Crenshaw
but it's not bad. I
saying?
get
Come on, Bobby, let's go party.
Crash Bandicoot, thank you so much for the follow. Okay, we got a full lobby.
Anyway,
Let's
a lot
go.
of the
We started.
liberals adding Twitch yesterday was
Tappers.
hilarious. Yeah, they're gonna get me banned for being a terrorist if I keep the beard.
The desperate doggies. Oh, pirate
I need
joke?
to
Oh,
pull
okay,
a-
I see.
I need to pull a Nikki Haley up in this bitch. Anyway, there's a lot to cover today. And not so much to cover on like the real world side of things. Campaign mania is upon us, but it's like very dull overall. Hogwatch is back, even though we never ended up doing that yesterday. Worst TikTok politics ranked. What would your less ethnic name would be? Would you just go with Hank?
Hank.
I mean, I always do that. I do that already. I go with Hank. Anyway. Yeah. Yank Pecker. Reginald Montgomery. That's the what? That's a wild thing. PBD versus Bassam Youssef. Campaign mania is upon us. Hogwatch is back. Worst TikTok politics ranked. Ukraine on the path to peace. New Johnny Harris vid kind of pops off. Oh, is he gonna rip into Netanyahu? Dude, if this video, you know what? Johnny Harris is always, I've said this before. I've maintained this position. He always gives us one good one and then two bad ones. Okay? I'm gonna be honest. He always does this. He'll give you one good one and then two bad ones. There's like a definite 1-to-2 ratio. Like sometimes he'll say some, like his Henry Kissinger video wasn't bad. Like his Henry Kissinger video was not bad at all.
No,
but
it was
because
bad.
it was on the tail end of like another Israel-Palestine video that
It
I would
was
say
bad.
was kind of decent, that I thought the Henry Kissinger video was going to be bad. And then I watched it and it wasn't like that bad. There is the Johnny's Law, but it's not 100%.
Nah, it was bad.
So I just want to say I appreciate your stream so much. You got me through some very tough times just to be here and feel like we're hanging out, shooting the shit, but learning new things. Just hope you know how much it means to so many. I hope I'm able to get you guys to think about things differently than the way you would. You know what I mean? That's my goal overall. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who don't know, I mean, we'll just address the elephant in the room real quick.
Well, I have one. Not people. Am I people?
Yesterday, I'm blasting out right now. Yesterday, I interviewed a man named Rashid. Okay, it was an impromptu interview that we were able to only make happen because we live in the internet age. It's one of the, in my opinion, greatest inventions, like the, or I would say this is one of the best. This is when the internet is at its best. Okay. This guy, Rashid, who I was fortunate enough to be able to interview, is a 19-year-old from Yemen who went viral. Let me pull up the Vice article. Okay. Under the name that was given to him by the Western world, Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy
Okay.
Chalamet.
And no, you're not supposed to follow Fuad. He's a private person. I was able to, I was able to communicate with this person via Twitter. Okay, the video's out and it's available if you want to watch it. Interviewing Yemeni Timothy Chalamet is the title of it. Okay. Thank you, Themasius, for the playlist. U.S. is, by the way, designating Yemen's Houthi rebels as a terrorist organization again, which is going to be devastating, and I will talk about why in a brief moment. But it was very cool that we were able to put this together completely randomly on stream, like haphazardly, I would say. But yes, I was able to get, I was able to secure a interview with him. And he is a 19-year-old Yemeni pirate, I guess, quote unquote, but not really. He did not personally participate in the raids, as far as we know. I did ask him about his affiliations and militancy, and he said that he was just simply a Yemeni person and not a Houthi, not a part of Ansar Allah, or he didn't even want to mention whether or not he was Shia or Sunni. These are questions I asked him, which is normal things to ask. Okay, that's what you do when you interview someone. There are, of course, abnormal things that I did not ask him, like things that I got in the aftermath of the interview, right? Like abnormal things not to ask a 19-year-old is, are you participating in child brides and child marriages? Are you personally involved in slavery? Okay, like things of that nature are not normal things to ask a human being when you're trying to understand their perspective. Okay, So I apologize to all the racists out there who were like, why didn't you debate him on how he's actually a terrorist who's killed people, is what I created in my mind. I like that Forbes wrote an article on this. Key facts: in an interview with Hassan Piker, who has over 2.6 million followers, the self-proclaimed Red Sea pirate identified himself as Rashid, a 19-year-old Yemeni from Ib Governorate in central Yemen. Rashid has posted numerous videos on board the sea's cargo ship Galaxy Leader, said through a translator that his only motivation is that they have is their solidarity with Palestine to stop their attack on Palestine. Now, understand how important this is, because right now, this article all of a sudden goes from something that is fascinating, right, about a viral phenomena, but it's an entry point into what the people of Yemen's interests are in these seized cargo ships. You don't get to hear that from any other outlet in the Western media. This is why it's very important for me to go and actively interview people like this, and also to show Americans, I hope, as best as I possibly can, that the people that we are bombing are human beings.
Yes.
With real hopes, with real dreams, with real opinions. They watch and consume the same media that we consume as best as they can. And I want to make sure that people understand that, right? And that's precisely why I interviewed him. And I interviewed him in a humanizing way rather than in a dehumanizing way. Okay? And I will always continue doing things like that. I'm not going to stop doing things like that. I will say this much. A 19-year-old Yemeni kid, okay? A 19-year-old Yemeni kid is not, in the eyes of the American government, the worst person I've interviewed on this broadcast. Okay? After all, famous Hasanabi head, Chelsea Manning, is a frequent guest, both in my home and also on the Hasanabi broadcast. And I'm going to go ahead and suspect that Chelsea Manning is probably less liked than some fucking random Yemeni teenager. Okay? And Chelsea is a hero, and I stand by that, and I will always defend that position, and she is always welcome here on the broadcast. Okay? So
I love
for
Chelsea.
people that go, excuse me, why are you interviewing a terrorist? Just remember that I have interviewed people who have done damage to American empire in far more significant ways. Okay? The real terrorist I interview every day, though, is, of course, the Austin Show, the man, the myth, the legend himself. He did a little bit of piracy, too. So, just something to consider. You're going to get Snowden on? I would love to have Snowden on. Yeah. Edward Snowden is also another person that I regard as an American hero. Okay? And yes, I would love to have him on. I would love to have more people like this on. Also, look at who Clarissa Ward has interviewed. It's just because she's with CNN that people have a different perspective. Exactly. Okay? Like, Vice News literally goes into cartel territory and interviews cartel members. Vice and CNN has straight up interviewed like Hamas militants from the Al-Qassam brigades.
Damn, I forgot to. I should have put the
It is ridiculous. This person is, one, not even a Houthi affiliated person regardless, but even if he was, and I repeat this now once again, even if he was, it would be still incredibly valid for me to interview them. Okay?
Yeah, completely
and the things
fine.
I do in the process of getting information out of whoever I'm interviewing is also perfectly valid. I mean, you have the famous 1997 Osama bin Laden interview where he declares jihad on a CNN interview. And there's definitely a difference between Osama bin Laden. I'm not even making the equivalence. I'm saying that this is a valid thing to conduct an interview on. Okay? This is valid. This is valid. And in a world where this is totally valid, okay, in a world where interviewing the Taliban is totally valid, in a world where interviewing Hamas is totally valid, in a world where interviewing all of America's foreign adversaries is perfectly valid, regardless of whether or not they are good or bad, interviewing a Yemeni kid is perfectly valid. But even beyond that, even if he was 100% a official member of Ansar Allah, that would still be valid. Now, if he was a official member of Ansar Allah, there were probably a different set of questions that I would have asked him. But he did not say that. He said he wasn't. Right? And with the constraints that I have, I'm not going to be able to push that further.
Wow.
People don't view you as a journalist. They view you as just another Twitch streamer with a gaming background and no formal education. They give you as much leeway. They'll never give you as much leeway. Yeah, except the problem is I'm not a journalist, right? I'm a political commentator. I do, however, sometimes interview academics, interview journalists, interview labor leaders, things of that nature, interview activists, right? And that's perfectly fine and dandy to do. The issue, however, is that they don't give me the same leeway that they would give to other Twitch streamers in general. Okay? You don't need to apologize for interviewing someone on your broadcast. Yes, of course, I am not apologizing at all. Why the hell would I ever apologize? I'm just simply describing to everyone that has, I guess, confusion surrounding the interview. I just want to make my position be known. Okay? This is a child of genocide. This is a kid who has experienced bombing for 11 of the 19 years that he has lived on this planet. Every single American media outlet has interviewed people that we have declared foreign adversaries that are officially a part of organizations that we have on the terror watch list. He was not. But even if he was, it still would not matter. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because I
yes,
plan
I
to
do
conduct
condemn
more
Hippo in
interviews
support of
like
pets.
this.
Yes.
Because I think it's good to do more interviews like this. And for those who are wondering about this particular thing, media outlets have, as far as I understand, reached out to my manager so they can connect with this kid. So the idea that there is no real journalistic interest here, okay, is laughable. So please do not get your information from Wikipedia consuming, Reddit point regurgitating, YouTube debate lords. If you want to be in the know, if you want to be, knowledgeable on things that are going on. The problem is not that you interviewed him, it's how you interviewed him. Gave him chicken and waffles with the Nazi vibes.
Oh my
That's
God.
Great. That's a great question, or that's a great point to raise here. Except this person is not a Nazi in the United States of America. He's not a Nazi in Yemen either. You are suspecting him of being that because you're primed into assuming that this 19-year-old is straight up a Nazi. He's giving you Nazi vibes, I guess. I can't do anything to help you sort out your own internal biases that makes you feel like this is not a good thing, this is a bad thing. Okay?
That's insane.
Why are there 3-year chatters being openly racist in here? Because they're American, or they are beneficiaries of Western imperialism and recognize it to a certain degree and don't want to question it. I think that's where it comes from. You just said it time and time again. Westerners who willfully lap up whatever the state tells them about non-Westerners without any further research or intellectually incurious, they shout down any voices deemed potentially terroristic. Exactly. They don't think their privilege and ignorance is racism. Yeah, that's the unfortunate problem here. It's not even progressive except for Palestine. At that point, that's progressive except for Muslims. There's a lot of Islamophobia that people have lapped up over the course of America's war on terror. Even if now plenty of white leftists, white liberals themselves think America's war on terror was bad, all of the wars in the rear view mirror, they were bad actually, and they might recognize that. What a lot of people fail to recognize beyond that is that there are still crumbs of that Islamophobia within the consent that was manufactured when you were growing up that you still harbor. There is a resentment and a fear and an anger that you have. Some of the things I asked him specifically pertained around like, I gave you nothing to work with in regards to Houthis anyway. It would be really rude, bad faith etiquette to start pushing him on that. Yeah, exactly. No, it's just like entirely racist at that point to just like be insanely aggro to this dude for absolutely no reason. That's the point. But Islamist political ideology is actually regressive. See, I'm going to give you a good domestic example of this, hopefully, so you can re-examine why you feel this way. This assertion is no different than the idea that, like, black people in America just have a violent culture.
Yes.
It requires further examination that you're not willing to engage with. When you blanket everyone living in a specific region, when you're directly talking to a person who is literally Muslim, comes from a 90% Muslim country, okay, that is ruled by a supposedly Islamist guy currently, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and you're failing to even
I mean, Sister Greencard, it isn't even that. Like, it isn't even a trauma response. It's literally, it's propped up by colonizers because then it just, because then, like, the people that are being colonized lose the PR battle and like, it justifies that. Like, I wouldn't even say it's a trauma response because, like, because this is not like this is specific targeting, like that's what I would say is I would not go as far as to say it's a trauma response. Okay? Because, like, if you look in a similar sort of situation with apartheid South Africa, like, the ANC was progressive. The difference is that like there were other, like, more right-wing groups that were also fighting against apartheid. But you know what I mean? And I know it's different because it's like, it's not like, we're not talking about Islam here. But yeah. Okay. All right. Well, no, maybe I need to, like, analyze it more if based on studying our history. Yeah.
So always remember, religion is simply a tool. The blanket assessment for all Christianity is bad, or the blanket assessment that all Islam is bad and all followers of Islam are barbaric, is just another way to recycle usually relatively racist propaganda in a way that is more morally permissible. in a way that is a little bit more acceptable in the eyes of a broader liberal, in the eyes of a broader liberal audience. Okay? This is very important for people to understand. Of course, there are plenty of people who live in the Muslim world who have a lot of regressive beliefs, including people that live in Turkey, right? But certainly in places like Yemen, in places like Palestine, in many other places. This is not a product of some impossible to shake standards. This is not a product of their own personal. This is not a product of their own personal moral failings. You are the most well-spoken left version of Alex Jones. I think Alex Jones is a genuine damaging figure to public discourse, but I do think he's very entertaining other than that. So I'm going to take that as a compliment. Thank you. I do think that your worldview has been a little distorted. Alex Jones is way more entertaining than you. That's true. He is. I think that your worldview is probably very distorted if you think that someone like myself is similar to a guy who has stalked the victims of a school shooting and like forced his audience or pushed his audience to stalk the victims of a school shooting while simultaneously claiming, no, you don't have to ban that guy. It's fine. I mean, I know he's like is a shithead. Anyway. I teach at a Muslim school. It's funny to see these people make these assertions. There's so much argument and discussion among the students. Many have kids who were born in refugee camps about which little beliefs and concepts are the most acceptable. They do say the same things as well. They constantly assume that white people are Christians and stuff. Yeah. Stop letting them get under your skin. They're being uncharitable. Don't be charitable with them. Ignore them and move on. It's better for your mental health. I think it's important to be charitable. And I'm also very calm in this situation. So that's fine. I think it's all right. Did you do the Forbes article about your interview? Yeah. I did not see the comments that they reached out for. I didn't see that at all.
Insane.
Why do you think he said he sees the Saudis and UAE as allies? That was one of the more interesting aspects of the interview, which I'm going to get to. Now that I'm done trying to defend like a normal function of the media that I engaged in and will continue to engage in always, a normal function of the media that got a lot of praise, as a matter of fact, from at least journalists that I care about. Jeremy Scahill loved it, and I think that's very cool. He used the words, "Oh my God, that is phenomenal." So I think I'm going to care about that a little bit more than random guys with Reddit accounts on their 11th sock account. Yeah. Also, Jeremy's handsome. So, obviously a normal function. The interview was good. But here's the Forbes coverage of it. The Galaxy leader was seized by the Houthi commandos. A group U.S. said was returning to the list of designated terrorist groups on Tuesday. It's actually very bad that this is happening. The Houthis were taken off the terror watch list by Joseph Robinette Biden, which was a good thing. The reason why that had happened is because this was a first step towards the official recognition of the Houthis and Ansar Allah in general, not the Houthis, but like Ansar Allah as the official governing body of Yemen. In the aftermath of the insane proxy genocide.
Yes, I did announce it, and I'll speak more about it
UAE,
tomorrow, Renna. But yeah, for those that want to know, we are doing a SAP tournament.
Saudi Arabia.
You can go find the details in the Discord under the gaming tab. Okay, sign up for it, all of that sort of stuff.
However, the Yemeni stopped short of confirming he was a member of the Houthi military. His answer is yes, he's a Yemeni who stands with Palestine, Parker's translator said. Rashid's original TikTok account was removed from social media site, but his accounts on Instagram, X, and Threads remain active. TikTok has not returned a request for comment on why the account was removed. Twitch and Piker have not returned requests for comments on Forbes.
Will Dip be mentioned
from the
tomorrow? I haven't
the
planned
popular streamer
anything.
site does ban content that depicts, glorifies, encourages, or supports terrorism or violent extremist actors or acts according to its community guidelines. I like that there's like a subtle nod there at the end that it's like, why isn't he banned? Because he's supporting terrorism. Did they reach out to you? No, I did not actually see the Forbes comments at all, or the reach out.
That's insane. Bro, like that's such bad journalism.
Actually, he doesn't want to be blocklisted from working, studying in Saudi Arabia, UAE. There's 2 million Yemeni working in Saudi Arabia. Yeah. They probably reached out to a fan account, most likely.
Probably did reach out to a fan account. That's so true.
You didn't see them in time, or you never received a request for comment? No, I just never saw. I still don't know who they reached out to. I never got a reach out. Okay. I never got a reach out from Forbes or anyone. The only there are some journalists that have reached out specifically to potentially write about this. Some reporters have
Onion
reached out to my
Tiger could go amazing.
about connecting
then it
them
can go
with
behind the frog.
the dude, the Yemeni quote unquote pirate Rashid, but I don't know if that's the best idea. Yeah, the rest of it is the key back. Oh, there's more. I didn't realize. Okay, I thought this was the end. Jomnilla, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Key background. The Galaxy Leader was seized on November 11th as a part of the campaign launched by Yemen's Houthi militants targeting Israel-linked ships in the Red Sea. The campaign was launched in response to Israel's ongoing war against Hamas in Gaza, which has killed over 24,000 people in the Palestinian territory, according to the Gaza Health Ministry's recent updates. In response to the Houthi campaign, the U.S. launched Operation Prosperity Guardian, a multinational coalition force designed to serve as a highway patrol on the trade lanes in the Red Sea. The Houthi campaign, however, has still forced major shipping companies like Maersk to shut down all cargo in the Red Sea, which the U.S. Department estimates consists of 10 to 15% of all global shipping traffic. Not exactly KB. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs as well. On January 12th, the U.S. and UK took the further step of launching airstrikes against 16 military targets in Yemen, marking the first escalation of the conflict onto the country's territory. The Houthis are aligned with Iran and have been criticized by international observers for violating human rights. A UN commission also determined a group recruited almost 3,500 children as child soldiers during their ongoing conflict with the internationally recognized government of Yemen. They were taken off the U.S. State Department's list of terrorist groups in 2021, but are scheduled to return to the list by February 2024.
I only ever play with chat. I never play Arena.
All of this is true, by the way. Every single thing in this article is true, except there's also more to the story that they're not covering, including the fact that these are the officially recognized, the internationally recognized government of Yemen is a Saudi-backed government and no longer has the people's support. Another thing that they're not mentioning, because it's an ongoing situation, is that the officially and internationally recognized government of Yemen and the Sunni officials and the Sunni generals that operate underneath it are also now aligned with Ansar Allah in the aftermath of America's attacks on Yemeni positions
okay.
in general. This is, of course, a important distinction to make, especially considering that even you have the Yemeni pro-Saudi tribal leader Mohammed al-Hazemi. We differ internally with the Houthi group, and between us is a war that has consumed everything, leading to collapse of the country and its disintegration and so on. However, we are not in disagreement regarding the Palestinian issue. Some may say that the Houthis use the Palestinian cause to their advantage, but I say this is their brilliance.
Fuck.
Why don't you use it to your advantage? Why don't you take the lead in an event that shook the world but did not shake you? An event that occurred in your own backyard and is central to your faith. I know some will be angered by what I'm saying, but it's the truth that one would acknowledge if they stripped away bias. So the actions of Ansar Allah have actually done
I'm gonna
more
go get my
to
toast now.
unite the country further than anything else. Especially, and I've described this before, okay? There are multiple warring factions inside of Yemen. There are socialist factions inside of Yemen, historically, okay? Socialist communist factions. Many of the socialist militias have also united under the banner of Ansar Allah. There are some that have not, or there are spiritual successors that have not, but ultimately, a war between Sunnis and Shia sects and the militias that they have created is very different than a war against the United States of America and the British. There is nothing more uniting for a country, a non-Western aligned nation, than being bombed by a Western nation. I try to stress this point all the time. I have used examples from my own personal background and my own personal understanding of Turkish politics. Okay? Specifically as it pertains to the coup that occurred, the American-backed, CIA-backed coup that occurred with Fethullah Gülen. Nobody aligns harder behind a dude that they despise, behind a movement that they despise, behind a movement that they've been at war with, than getting blown up by the United States of America. Okay? Why did they not mention that the USA saved the Houthis from the jaws of defeat against Saleh Mansur, Sunni government backed by the KSA? Oh, that's right. The USA wanted a strong regional player that is Shia, can oppose Sunni power to maintain destabilization in the Middle East, and it was a concession in the Iran nuclear deal. Nobody mentioned this. Lol, lol, lol. The heavy handshake. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Just like certain factors align everyone in this community, like the top of the hour ad break. Okay? Oh, can they be the government of Yemeni when they take all of Yemen? Well, there are 3 governments in Yemen right now. No, all under the UAE, Lamau, pure cope. They were bombed by the UAE and Saudis. Didn't unify then. Why would they unify now? Well, I described it to you already. There's a difference between being bombed by an American proxy, you know, someone in the region who believes in your
everyone in
version of the, you're someone that looks like you, someone that speaks the same language, and someone that is getting armed by America, but literally is still your fellow Arab citizens, right? There's a difference between joining that cause versus being bombed directly by the United States of America. This is something that I just described. See, bro, as a South Yemeni, this has been the only time that my family isn't cursing the Houthis and actually sees them as a good force. You saw this with Hamas in Gaza. Okay? That's it. I mean, you saw this with, yes, the KMT and CPC coming together to fight Japan in World War II. There is no greater force that unites a nation than a foreign adversary directly coming and killing your fellow countrymen. Okay? People go back to warring. Once that's done, this is something that I've tried to describe to people over and over and over and over and over again. And yet, it's a fact. It's a historical fact. And yet people refuse to see it.
All right. I'm going to press play for Zap. Anyone else? Speak now. So I can wait for you.
Americans cannot begin to fathom solidarity. They can. They engage in it. Americans' solidarity, of course, only comes into the fray when America is doing foreign policy. America is doing imperialism overseas. That is why there are plenty of people who are currently criticizing me, obviously on the reactionary hog side, but also on the liberal side. There's a tremendous number of liberals that are losing their minds over my coverage, losing their minds at the fact that I dared to talk to a 19-year-old Yemeni kid.
Let's go then.
Okay. A teenager who went up to a ship that has been grounded since November 11th, that has become a tourist destination. Part of that is because they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to come across as like progressive people, but also simultaneously want to continue doing genocide in the Middle East. That's a difficult position because it's inherently contradictory. Genocide and progressive values don't align with one another. Anyway, tangent. However, in the interview with Piker, Rashid continued to insist his motivation was not to disrupt trade, but to support the Palestinians in Gaza. He said he likes his adventures and is a big supporter of Palestine, and he's looking forward to bigger and better things, Hassan's translator said. Rashid later criticized headlines in Western media highlighting his good looks. I did not talk about beauty or anything else, but our issue is Palestine, and this is not the time to talk about beauty, he posted on X. In Arabic. Rashid said he was only 19 years old, and many commenters on social media have compared his appearance to American actor Timothée Chalamet, jokingly referring to him as Timothy Chalamet. Now, many in this community made that joke as well. But, of course, we can't make these jokes because the reality is people racistly use that against anyone and everyone. The amount of people that I have seen with anime PFPs on Twitter, on X, formerly known as Twitter, hoping that an American JDAM will destroy this 19-year-old, will kill him, fantasizing about how his entire family will die, is insane. Not Roman statue PFPs. I'm not talking about straight right-wing hardliners. I'm talking about liberals. Okay? Here is why. Here is why. Because when you have absolutely nothing... Yeah, I'm the
saucy step family.
When you have absolutely nothing...
Look, like it's...
When you don't have health care. When you don't have...
It's an alliteration.
...job prospects. When your future is uncertain, when climate change is ripping through your understanding of the world, your way of existence that you formerly thought was going to be the way that things were going to be. When you see so much death and destruction around, when you hear about American empire and its bounties in the periphery, but never actually see anything in return for that, you are going to be bloodthirsty because that's the only thing you have to show for it is killing a fucking teenager in one of the poorest countries on earth. 8,000 miles away. That is the only thing you have that makes you feel like we are still the champions. That's it.
Sure.
It is no different. And I don't think people are aware that they have this framework. Okay? They look at one of the poorest nations on the planet, a country that recently withstood genocide, right? And they say, let's blow them up further because it makes me feel like we still have some kind of power.
Yes.
That is a sad state of affairs.
It's fucking disgusting.
Just like the Israeli liberal or the Israeli left that does not comprehend that existing in an apartheid regime inevitably creates reactionary politics, fascist politics that end up coming back and haunting you as well. Americans don't recognize that this cannot be something that you advocate for, even from a pure morality framework, from a pure moral framework, but also because when you're so hyper-focused on America advancing its imperialist agenda globally, you can't even beg for crumbs with the tax dollars, the revenue that we generate. So even if you are an immoral charlatan and simply looking at this from the framework of self-interest, you must recognize that America's wars are a burden on your well-being as well. And only in the rear view mirror do you recognize that these atrocities are actually harmful internally as well, domestically as well. Only when you look at the rubble of America's war on terror and you look at the $12 trillion that we spent on that instead of healing ourselves, instead of fixing our infrastructure, instead of spending it on education, instead of spending it on healthcare, only then,
fucking spitting, dude.
Years later, do you look back in that, you look back at the ashes of that, and you look at 12,000 American service members that died. You look at millions of active duty combat veterans that are crippled beyond repair. Every 22 minutes, a veteran kills himself or herself, okay? A veteran commits suicide every 22 minutes. This is a nation in disrepair. And if you yourself fancy yourself to be a liberal and think of yourself as a progressive person, you have to remember, is it 22 a day or not every 22 minutes. I apologize. 22 veterans every single day commit suicide. That's not 22 every 22 minutes. I don't know what the minute breakdown looks like. Problem is, maintaining this empire is taxing on your soul, as a chatter pointed out. It's taxing on our collective consciousness. There's a spiritual rot that comes with that as well. But you only can think about how bad that is after the fact. You can't think about how bad it is while it's happening.
Damn. That's
so like I said, if you don't want to think about this from the framework of humanity, that those kids that we're blowing up are human beings too, and that is no way to treat them. Genocide is no way to fix the problems that they withstand in their countries. If you don't want to think about it from that framework, then think about it from a position of self-interest. Am I running? Am I rushing to judgment? Am I assuming that this time America's actions are just? Or is there another solution? Is there another way to manage the problem? It's so hard to go to work every day as soon as I get up. I see my government sending billions in weapons to bomb children is absolutely insane. Yeah. Rashid said he was only 19 years old, and many commenters on social media have compared his appearance to American actor Timothée Chalamet, jokingly referring to him as Timothy Chalamet. After a 9-year-long civil war that began in 2014, Yemen's median age is only 21.6, according to the U.S. State Department. Through a translator, Rashid told Piker on Twitch, the recent U.S. bombings in Yemen were nothing new for Yemenis. The Houthi-controlled part of northern Yemen was recently targeted by an intense bombing campaign by Saudi Arabia, which was supported by the U.S. beginning of 2015. They're almost honored to be targeted by the U.S. because they are confronting the U.S. head-on and directly, the translator clarified. And that's it. That's the major difference between being bombed by a U.S. proxy
fucking, like, every single time,
who
dude.
looks and sounds like you, who can at least claim that their interests are genuine and just, versus being bombed by America directly. Look no further than the state of affairs in Iran if you want to understand how this works. We left that wonderful nation in a state of disrepair, in a state of disarray, and have never, ever
I'm excited for the sap, Tony.
to fix the problem that we created since 1953. Okay? That's it. Pretty damning how many people came out of the gate screaming that this guy was a terrorist and Assange should be arrested for platforming him. How easy it is to essentialize people you've never viewed as fully human.
Mm-hmm. Literally,
he's a kid from one of the poorest countries in the world that our proxy has been starving and bombing for the last decade, but I guess it's easier to call him a Nazi terrorist and think he may have his own fully formed views like a human person. A lot of people that consider themselves of the left have a serious unexamined racism problem when it comes to Arab people. They'll say the right words, but when their preconceptions are challenged, they reduce an entire people to cartoon villains. This, in its essence, and I'm gonna bring this back to domestic situations as well. This, in its essence, is not materially adjusted to the reality that people experience on the ground. Okay? This, in its essence, if you are to make a domestic comparison, is no different than someone who is genuinely a white supremacist racist. Maybe not an open, out and about white supremacist racist. Okay? But
I'm just
like
getting owned,
the
dude.
racism demonstrated by, your grandfather or whatever, or your dad.
Bro,
or
that's
your uncle.
devastating.
Which, by the way, I keep forgetting to run the top of the hour break. I'm just going to do it right now. But anyway, as I was saying, the racism that you see from like the average conservatives when they talk about black people. Oh, black people have a culture of violence. They have a culture of violence. Arabs are all, regressive, crazy Muslim people that, because of Islam, the Islamic doctrine, are all interested in being violent. Without, exactly, literally liberals pulling the same framework as black people in Chicago are surely violent, but in this context. That is the problem here. If you do not adjust people's actions to their material realities, it doesn't matter. You're just behaving in the same exact way that Republicans do. Okay? Genuine question, Hassan. If their teachings call for the slaughter of non-believers, why is it unfair to say their followers are violent? Because that is a ridiculous assumption to place upon an entire population of billions of people. You are out of your mind, brother. If you think that every Muslim person legitimately believes that we must slaughter you're, by the way, talking to someone who grew up in a Muslim country, from a Muslim family. I'm obviously not the best Muslim, okay, but culturally I grew up Muslim. You're talking to someone right now. Do I strike you as the type of person that wants to butcher non-believers? It's ridiculous. Every religious script has stupid, silly, violent assertions made upon it, made in it. It's all about what you do with these stories that matters. Not at all. I admit I know almost nothing about Islam. There you go. You know nothing about Islam except what you just said. That what you think you know about Islam is that their teachings are calling for the slaughter of non-believers. That you weren't born with this information. Everybody stop yelling at this person, okay? This is a really important teachable moment because this is in good faith, at least. This is a incredibly reactionary thing that this person said, but at least they recognize that they're coming at it from a perspective of just a lack of knowledge. Do you know how many Americans feel this way? If you were to just shut these people off, we would have very little allies. No, bro, he's not 8 years old. He's a racist piece of shit. I don't care. I don't care. America is a phenomenally Islamophobic, phenomenally racist place. Okay? You have to remember, every single person is coming out of a position of ignorance. They are products of their social conditioning. Leftists consistently forget, for some weird reason, that if we do live in a white supremacist, Islamophobic, imperialist, capitalist nation, then obviously the product of that is going to be that people assume that this is the norm. That's why a person can so easily say, I don't know anything about Islam. I thought that there's just like they kill all the non-believers, they butcher them. Okay? The most important part of that conversation is that person going, I'm sorry, I didn't know anything about that. I want to learn. If someone demonstrates a willingness to learn, I'm always going to be there for them. Okay? And a lot of people have, especially former fans, fallen fans, and the like, a lot of people have used that over the course of the past couple of years against me by taking advantage of that policy, the open door policy that I've always had, to derail the conversation. That's part of the reason why one of my 2024 convictions, one of my New Year's resolutions, was to be more charitable to people, even if they are openly being uncharitable. Okay? I don't want to shut off people who have a willingness to learn. Okay? Or to actually completely get your angle, I forget sometimes Americans can often explicitly say racist things out loud with zero consequence. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. What do I always say? No one is born. I think you have a double standard here. You would never be as charitable to an American theocratic fascist. Brother, I just talked to someone who was demonstrating theocratic fascism style Islamophobia, and that was literally a moment where I was incredibly charitable to a person because they openly admitted that they were not knowledgeable. Like seconds ago, did you just join the fun in the chat? One of the things that I absolutely despise about the attitude that people have about being a leftist, being a Marxist, being a socialist, being a progressive is that they think it is a tool to bully others because I am the moral arbiter of good. That's not the case. Okay? Your socialism, your leftism, your progressivism should be guided by empathy. Empathy to all unconditionally, even those who are engaging in microaggressions. Okay? That's why I have asked time and time again in this community for people to engage in what is known as emotional labor. Because your enemies, your adversaries, those who are believers of fascist ideology, they never think about emotional labor because obviously they're coming at it from a position of dominance. So there is no reason for them to conduct any kind of emotional labor. But you have to do that if you want to win. You have to do that. This doesn't mean, allow hyper racist commentary to thrive in this community. Obviously, there's a delicate balance here, and I will always engage in that. It's something that you always must remember and carry with you when you conduct yourself online, when you conduct yourself in your personal conversations with others. That's it. So, bro, I know you're trying to be charitable, but a lot of people are so indoctrinated that they're already looking at you as a biased and bad source. It doesn't matter. It's the charm offensive, okay? And you should engage in that as well. Who cares? Yes. The problem is, everyone is biased. I at least will openly tell you where my biases are. That's it. Part of the reason why I can also do this and openly advocate for it is because I am a white passing dude. Okay? That does give me a lot of privilege. I'm a cisgender, heterosexual, white passing dude. So, of course, nothing impacts me personally. Obviously, there are, as we've seen over the course of the past couple of months, there are certain angles of attack that are very successful, like saying I'm an Islamic terrorist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always the racism
That does
line.
work with a broader audience. But overall, I have a lot of privileges, which is why I can engage in this conversation, and I will continue to engage in this conversation as well as possible. Anyway, that's why I tell you, when you encounter a hater in the wild, just ask them to watch the broadcast for an extended period of time. Give it a watch. Make up your mind on your own. Make up your mind on your own instead of allowing someone else online to make it up for you. And I think that when they do come in and watch personally, their minds will change. When I said haters in the wild, I mean online. Let's be real. Of course, none of them are leaving their houses. Very unproductive. I'd instead like to focus on the intrinsic moral character of the monolithic Houthis as a white person of the West, which is definitely not racist, and I'll scream at the top of my lungs if you ask me to examine my assumptions. Funny one from Emma, who's done a pretty awesome job so far on her coverage as well, on all aspects of the ethnic cleansing going on in Gaza. D-trolls are too wild to watch you fully. I doubt you have any previous Destiny viewers who would like to stir the shit pot. No, I think that I have viewers who probably watch Destiny debate right-wing reactionary sex offender PUA losers, and we're like, well, this guy seems like a liberal. I like him a lot. He's championing a lot of the causes that I care about. And he gave them the permission to also be like kind of racist, but in an edgy way, in a safe way.
Onion vulture.
So they moved in that direction.
Clever.
And after a certain point, it's just like, yeah, if you already have these biases, because he masquerades as a liberal quite well to an audience that is like ill-informed or not really listening to everything that's going on. And if he looks good on, TikTok clips and whatnot, then they're just simply never going to come in here and make up their minds, or the ones that do come in here are coming here with a purpose. Do you not realize, Chad, that D is living in your head rent free as well? Holy fuck, yeah. I rarely think about this person.
Wow, look at this.
And I think you shouldn't either. I mean, you guys bring it up, but
It shouldn't be brought up.
there was another Hassan fraud video. They showed us 8-second clips or even shorter to prove their point, and it even touched on the amount of journalists you get on screen of the Palestinians and conscientious objectors that you've interviewed. Is prime clout farming? Yes. If you see an 8-second video of me online or a 20-second video of me online, okay, that is not a person that is being fair or making a genuine assessment over whatever I'm talking about, okay? That's a person who wants to get on the fuck Hassan train. If you see people pointing to videos like that in your life, get them to watch an actual real YouTube video of mine. Even if they come at it from an uncharitable perspective, I do believe that there are always going to be plenty of people who make up their own minds. Make up your own mind. I say this about everyone, including even Destiny. Okay? Make up your own mind. Unfortunately, there's a small cult following that act in unhinged ways that cause obsessive interaction with which the algorithm favors. Yeah. So, I saw a meme from Zalib that made a thumbnail of you. Invite some SS Soldier next, Lamau. Yeah. Leftist infighting is a boring, unproductive. I mean, I wouldn't consider everyone I talk about to be leftist. Okay, make no mistake.
Yeah. Wow.
I feel like I take your haters' points more personally than you do. Why doesn't Vosh act charitable towards you on international affairs?
People going around
market capture. That's it. There is a anti-Hassan slant that you can try to spear yourself into, where you will get a lot of dudes that are maybe not fully aligned with you, but they will come on board with, like, at least in that very moment, they'll come on board and say, "Oh yeah, I agree with you."
It is drama bait there.
He's also pro NATO. Anyway, that's it. But these are petty grievances with content creators that are completely irrelevant. Not saying the content creators themselves are irrelevant. I'm saying that the petty grievances are irrelevant. I've been very charitable, I think, to Vosh as far as his takes on Palestine. On the Yemen situation, we are in disagreement. But overall, I think he's. I will always say this: if someone is decent on this issue, it is the one issue that many people are impossible to actually.
Wow.
Many people just simply have really bad opinions on Palestine. So
yes, you did hear that correctly, cheeky
I will
goose.
always, regardless of what their other politics may be, I will always maintain that same charitability on this front. But that's it. The whole like Hassan's foreign policy is bad attitude comes from I think very cowardly, in a very cowardly way, trying to ensure that you are a good guy. Like you're trust me, like there's all these other guys who are bad. Like I'm pro Palestine, but I'm pro Palestine the right way type shit. But it is pure Western chauvinism for the most part. You stated that the Houthis don't care about Gaza at all and their blockade is about Islamic Jihad. Yeah, that's a really good assessment. Yeah.
Wow, what a strong eagle, dude. Such an
That's a very
interesting build,
disingenuous
Tiamani.
interpretation of those who are critical of your foreign policy. If a 3-minute video of you can still be considered clip chimp, then it is the only way people could be legitimately critical of you. They do commentary on a whole 8-hour stream. It seems like a catch-22. But if you require viewers to understand so much context just to understand your opinion, at some point you don't have the responsibility to be more concise. If you think that I can describe foreign policy in a more concise way to a inherently reactionary positioned Western chauvinist audience that has been propped up with jingoistic narratives and propped up against Islam in general, with false understandings of Islam, if you think that that is a issue with precision, then you are also personally recognizing how difficult of an undertaking that is. Okay? And as far as my foreign policy perspective goes, I'm fairly certain that Bigums Lajimbo, you are probably unfamiliar with my actual foreign policy assumptions, and you are simply making up your mind off of things that other people have motivated you into believing. If you were to actually examine what I have to say, or if you were to actually ask me what my foreign policy perspective is, for example, I'm willing to bet, and this is, I will say this for every single person, for many, many people, if you were to ask me directly what my positions are on many things, then you would develop a much better understanding than the massaged narratives that you've been geared up with. It's not a weird assumption to make. This is what a lot of people have. This is an assumption that a lot of people have. Why are you getting so upset? You can just simply say, "No, I actually do watch you." Okay, what do you think is a criticism of my foreign policy from your perspective? You can watch me every single day and still not understand that, but go ahead. Watched every single day since 11/11/2023. Yeah.
Wow, Tia.
Put you in the back pocket while we continue.
To now, and the White House taking a new step against the Iran-backed group that has been attacking commercial shipping in the Red Sea. Our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce.
What if we just watch for the drama? I mean, plenty of people do that, I think. It's sad that people care more about that than they care about like real human lives being taken or the impact that it has even personally. But yeah, plenty of people do that. It's the only way that they can consume political content for the most part. The problem is I see people straight up lying about what your foreign policy is. It's hard to prevent it. Yeah, people are just going to lie.
What is life like on Bitch Island? I don't know.
That.
Ask your mom.
Splitbringer, thank you for the follow.
Yeah, but that's why I always say go and watch my YouTube channel or direct people to go and watch my YouTube channel, and then they will develop a better understanding of my positions. This person immediately, as soon as I said, "What do you have a disagreement with?" or "What is a good criticism of my foreign policy?" and this person is completely stopped. I don't think that they had a real purpose here other than derail, but who knows? I mean, I'm here for you. If you
Timani, this is insane.
If you have real questions, I'm here for you. I will try to explain.
Okay, Nat. Yeah.
As the latest.
Wow.
Good morning, Mary.
So
Good
close,
morning,
but well
Robin.
done.
After weeks of relentless missile and drone attacks by the Houthis, the Biden administration today plans to designate the militia a terrorist organization, putting them back on the list after President Biden removed them in 2021 over humanitarian concerns.
I saw someone on Reddit say some regurgitated Hassan terrorist talking point, and the comment below linked their own comment a couple days prior in the Destiny subreddit saying they know nothing of the conflict and they hope Destiny would do a Wikipedia stream soon. You can't make this shit up. Yeah. Even on the debate front, I think that a lot of people don't recognize that. What do debate lords love, right? They that they think that you got to make up your mind after you get all these facts. Okay, except many people don't do that. They just have geared themselves as drama consumers against content creators that they've declared enemies, and now they're and now they're just like waiting for someone to fill in the gaps with positions. Sorry, I'm trying to write my point accurately. I'm trying to be careful with my words. Go ahead. I'm still waiting for you. And if you want, we can maybe even later today I can invite you on as a guest if you would like. He's watching another content creator video to answer because they don't have a new opinion. I mean, sure. I'm sure that he has a...
Well done.
I'm going to be charitable.
Worried that the designation would make it nearly impossible for critical aid to reach Yemen's impoverished...
I'm glad that the media is actually mentioning this
do.
because this is the most negative consequence of declaring the Houthis to be a terrorist organization once again and putting them on the terrorist organization once again. It ends up making it harder for the poorest country, one of the poorest countries on the planet, to actually get aid.
Yeah.
That's a huge problem. The Biden admin took the Houthis off the terrorist list in 2021. Now, because of commerce disruption, he will put them back on. Thank you to the Biden admin for clearly demonstrating the political nature of terrorist designations. Yeah. I send this at New Year's, but I think addressing some of the common misconception in a charitable way could be beneficial for capturing back some of the haters. I agree. I don't want to discourage chatters from speaking their mind, especially if they're being charitable. But you have to be charitable back to those who you do not agree with, as long as they are not being like assholes. You know what I mean? There's a difference between someone coming in and being like, actually, I think that you personally are defending this because your perspective, your foreign policy perspective, is simply just America bad. You're being campus. It's okay to watch videos by people who communicate shit professionally to better articulate your points. Yeah, sure. But there's a difference between watching videos by people who communicate shit professionally to better articulate your points.
I need to talk to Renna about
versus,
that.
Like digging into a drama farmer,
and then I'll need to
creator who doesn't have like a
Renna,
real personal motivation beyond.
But we can do Total Pack after this,
right?
If you want to.
Like that's the issue there. I mean, that's why I make these videos. I make these videos specifically so that people can. I make these videos and I cover these issues specifically so that people understand my framework, my opinion. Yeah. Destiny called you a Turkish immigrant and said he wants you to join the Houthis so you can get killed and these so-called liberals defend him. I love how fast these people show their true face about what they actually think of us Muslims. Yeah. Islamophobia is definitely, I think a lot of your foreign policy ideas are naive and unrealistic. Okay, elaborate.
terrorist organization, putting them back on the list after President Biden removed them in 2021 over humanitarian concerns, worried that the designation would make it nearly impossible for critical aid to reach Yemen's impoverished civilians. Now, instead, beginning in the middle of next month, the U.S. will consider the Houthis a specially designated global terrorist group, blocking its access from the global financial system. The Iran-backed militants we know have been terrorizing commercial vessels in the Red Sea and the Sea of Aden now for weeks, claiming to retaliate for Israel's war with Hamas. It has caused a costly disruption to one of the world's most heavily trafficked and busiest shipping routes. Now, after issuing multiple warnings, the Biden administration has now responded with strikes 3 times in the last week. Biden's national security advisor saying this is now an all hands on deck situation. Gio.
All right, Mary, thank you for your reporting there.
Yeah, it's a really sad state of affairs. It's a really sad state of affairs. You did that shit in Rose back in the day. What's so bad about it? Yeah, it's there's no diplomacy happening here. And the only answer here is that
getting for sap, everyone.
Creating more moral justifications and moral permission that America doesn't even really need. I think the drama between the three of you is a bit tragic. Good faith discussion of the more nuanced differences in your positions will be productive. Brother, I hold commentators to a very different category than their fans. Okay, you're out of your mind if you think that that would be a productive discussion whatsoever. Especially considering that I was friends with everyone that you're talking
Everybody
about.
needs to shut up about this.
I mean, there's obviously a reason why it did not work out. Okay, I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. I like, this is not just drama. This is people that have openly at different times in their careers said that they were either very upset about my rise in my own personal career and we're trying to find a way to like make that morally appropriate, like find a morally appropriate angle of attack, and have openly mentioned their fantasies of destroying me. This is not just pure drama at that point, and it's certainly not about like an ideological difference. Okay? If you know anything about me, I try to do as much as I can to be as charitable as I can and maintain relationships that are familial and friendly. If I don't do that, at a certain point, it's probably because the other party has been really, 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 really aggressive.
You guys do not want to know.
Okay? It has never actually been remotely productive. Conversations have never actually been remotely productive, usually because of the secondary aspect, which is not necessarily the discussion itself, but everything that came as a consequence of that discussion is usually clip chimped positions that I do not have, that people champion and spread everywhere. Okay? It's also, in my opinion, not just a simple petty disagreement when like half of your position is telling me to go back to my own country and that I'm an Islamic terrorist, and also not directly, well, sometimes directly saying shit like that, but then also indirectly collaborating with content creators that are literal fucking Nazis who have openly stated that they want to murder me, and welcoming those content creators with open arms in your community and aligning with their audience. That is not just petty drama at that point. I mean, I've been compared to Osama bin Laden a million times over at this point. At a certain point, I got to be like, come on, dude. That's not exactly drama, nor is it brilliant political analysis. It's no different, basically, than Babylon B coming out with it. Vivek Ramaswamy is going back to 7-Eleven and then turning around and be like, well, that's astute political observation here. What are you talking about? You know? But many of you want that because you don't have any real way of like maintaining an interest in politics. I get it. It gets kind of boring unless you're like super brain diseased, or if you have like a real interest, like, or unless you directly are impacted by this stuff, or are super brain diseased. Like, yeah, you're going to follow it for blood sport purposes. We'll get to the Bassem Youssef conversation in a second.
All right, we're going to start with SAP in like a minute.
But yeah. They are comparing you to Hitler already, and it's no different how how Israel makes every Palestinian Hitler. Yeah. Don't you think that people are here ultimately to be entertained, though? Yes, there are plenty who are ultimately here to be entertained. And if you pick up some information on the side, it's great. That's my goal. My goal is here to entertain you, but also then educate you as well. By the way, I asked that person what criticisms that they had on my foreign policy. And it's very odd. Because, like, that guy just left. He just dipped out.
Anyway, let's go. Me started, by the way.
Oh, he did say something? Oh, no, this was the other guy. So you want Israel to pull back from Gaza and give them equal rights? That is unrealistic after an attack. I'm not saying it's moral and good, but unrealistic. No, it's very realistic.
By the way, I think after this I'm going to
you want to know why it's very realistic?
head off.
Because what Israel's doing currently is unrealistic. Unless it completes its genocide, which I suspect you don't want,
but, yeah.
Right? Every other option of maintaining an apartheid regime is actually less realistic.
And I gotta go sort some
October
things out
7
before I go to bed.
As a consequence of Israel thinking that it was a realistic position to continue having an apartheid regime over, 4 million, almost 5 million Palestinians, both in the West Bank and in Gaza. So I personally think that that is the more realistic option. And some in Israel understand that. Many in the region understand that as well. So there you go. So that's my answer to you, Nick Stanforder. And then the other one is what? My original message wasn't meant to legitimize my criticism of your foreign policy, especially about Yemen, but we disagreed on Taiwan a few months ago. And that stands in my mind of I'm not trying to derail old news. Sorry, I'm not a full-time chatter. I had to do something. I'm still here to learn. What is the criticism of foreign policy with respect to Taiwan? I think that all people have an opportunity, or should have an opportunity for autonomy. Okay? I understand why there are especially younger generations of Taiwanese people that want full independence from China. This is major, like one of the major reasons for this is because of the incredible social repression that the Chinese government subjects its citizens to. This part is correct. Okay? Just like wanting to be autonomous is also correct. Every single thing that I've mentioned here is correct. Taiwan is no longer the fascist cutoff that the fascist cutout that the American government claimed was the real China. Okay, of course it's not. Taiwan has a democracy.
All right, let's have a look.
My position on Taiwan is that America's strategic ambiguity is just simply a substitute for just lying, and America utilizing Taiwan as a cudgel against a foreign adversary. That's it. And it's completely understandable that China would not want an island 100 miles off of its coastline that is aligned with the United States of America to want to disrupt and engage in acts of terror against the Chinese population in mainland China. The current standing between Taiwan and China is the American understanding of Taiwan and China, which happens to be don't rock the boat. The Chinese government wants there to be complete reunification inevitably, The Taiwanese people do not want that. Okay? But if you were to come in here and say that America has Taiwan's best interests at heart, then you're not paying attention. Yes, this is before we even talk about the Taiwan economy being obviously dependent on mainland trade. But that's it. Okay? I didn't get it, though. I don't know what your difference in opinion was. No, Taiwan society is split on reunification, but the vast majority agree that the status quo is the best situation. Yes. Yes. The overwhelming majority still say, don't rock the boat. Don't fuck up the dynamic that currently exists. That's a completely understandable position that people have. So notice how we mentioned Israel. He did not respond to my retort, this other person, and now moved on to China. So what is your foreign policy on China and vying for global influence? As long as Chinese global policy revolves around soft power, I'm not going to have an issue with that. I do not have an issue with countries doing soft power politics. I do not have an issue with countries collaborating with other countries and developing them. Okay? It is ridiculous. The problem with American soft power is that it requires a tremendous amount of hard power. China has yet to show that that same energy when it comes to the carrot and the stick. They've not shown the stick yet. They just do the carrot diplomacy. Internationally, of course. If America wants to compete with China, perhaps they should do the same. Just an idea. Okay? All right. Briefly going to talk about the E. Jean Carroll. I mean, I don't even care about the E. Jean Carroll defamation case, I think. Because it's like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Let's talk about New Hampshire briefly, and then I'm going to get back to Patrick but David. Okay? And, of course, divide and conquer why Israel's strategy can't work. And then we have some fun reacts later as well. So...
out of the race for the Republican presidential nomination, and it is still a race, at least for now, focused on New Hampshire. All three GOP candidates will be in the Granite State today ahead of next week's pivotal primary there. And polls are showing Donald Trump ahead by not nearly as much as he was in Iowa. Nikki Haley is polling a close second, and Caitlin Huey Burns is following it for us in Manchester, snowy Manchester. Caitlin, good morning.
Yeah, I'm just going to get
Good morning to you, Tony. Well, New Hampshire's just the second stop on the campaign calendar, but here on the ground, it very much feels like it could be one of the final ones.
I saw you in Jason's chat and talking about like toxic, being the only one who had that emote. I know what you're doing, Arizona.
People of the great state of New Hampshire.
As snow descended on the Granite State, so too did the Republican presidential candidates. Former President Trump is splitting his time this week between the campaign trail and the courtroom as he faces a second defamation suit in Manhattan. All a sign he sees 91 charges and 4 criminal cases against him as a political advantage among Republican voters. He denies any wrongdoing.
If I didn't get indicted all these times, and if they didn't unfairly go after, I would have won, but it would have been much closer, I tell you.
But the reaction among Republican primary voters here appears mixed.
I think I can overlook that. I think his policy is so important to me and what he's going to do for the country.
I'm done with the drama. We know that the nation is looking at us now, and we're going to turn out.
And in a pitch to the state's independent sensibilities, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley is urging voters to turn the...
I love how much of a freak state New Hampshire is, by the way. This is like... It's fun. New Hampshire always brings the fun. Iowa tries too hard to be like the subversive first primary position. They really ham up the first primary position. They love their little fairs, and they love getting a little bit of relevancy domestically every 4 years. But New Hampshire is my favorite because they are genuinely freaks.
True.
It is a very fun little
life like on
libertarian.
I don't know. Ask your mom.
Freak state. I've said this already. It's the most Arizona state in the East. Okay.
Blue.
It is our little Arizona
so
above the Mason-Dixon.
Follow.
It's wonderful. It is incredibly Arizona coded without the Arizona weather. And I love it. It is a state created specifically for sovereign citizens. That's their greatest cultural export, and also Ludwig. It's great. Ludwig went to both born in New Hampshire, then went to Arizona State. He doubled down on the sovereign citizen libertarianism states, and yet he still came out the way that he is, which is shocking. I don't know what happened. Maybe it canceled itself out. You know what I mean? Like a subscription cancels itself out at the top of the hour when there's a 3-minute ad break.
Fuck you, dude.
Oh, really?
Never realized I streamed.
All
Yep.
right.
Every single day.
No? Okay. What? What's wrong? What's going on? Are you good? Are you good?
Don't worry, we don't always just sit and watch this on. We do our own content as well.
Yeah, brother, we lose towns to bears, but don't legalize weed. We have the 4th largest Congress in the world after India, UK, USA, but they don't get $100 a year. What?
Bro, I'm just getting fucking eaten alive in this sap game.
All right, here's the 3-minute ad break now.
Page.
You've described this as a two-person race between yourself and Donald Trump. Does that mean you need to take the case more aggressively to Donald Trump?
Yes, it's about the differences between Trump and with me. And I'll tell you, look, we don't want 2 80-year-olds to be our options.
But another controversy is following
So
Haley
true.
as
That's
she was
such
asked
good,
yesterday whether she
like,
thinks the
that
GOP is a
that,
racist
like Nikki
party.
Haley, like unironically, just that line there is such good campaigning. We don't want 2 8-year-olds to be running. Oh my god, that's so good. She's such a freak, dude. Play Subnautica?
Yeah, watch her poll numbers.
No, I need to sleep and I've got to do stuff after this. But we'll do some Subnautica.
Watch her poll numbers diminish
tomorrow.
When,
I mean, look, unless I
Trump
might
starts
actually,
hitting the
I
whole,
might.
like,
Now that I think about it,
Nimrata.
I might actually. Now you've convinced me. I might.
Line over and over again.
Never been a racist country.
And after eking out a second-place finish in
Ooh,
Iowa,
this is scary.
Florida
I
Governor
love
Ron
it.
DeSantis wants to slow Haley's momentum in New Hampshire.
No, I need
So
to
she
get back
does
to
not
Elden Ring
have
as
the
well.
ability to build the type of coalition
Fuck
that
it.
you
Okay,
need
I'll
to
play
win a
some Subnautica
Republican
after this.
primary
Stick
period,
around about an hour.
much less take on Donald Trump.
Now, there are going to be plenty of candidate events here over the next 6 days, but Gail, there aren't going to be any debates before New Hampshire voters weigh in next week. Nikki Haley was scheduled to have one tomorrow with potentially Ron DeSantis, but she bowed out because she said she would only show if Donald Trump did.
All right. Thank you, Caitlin.
Oh, my God.
Caitlin, we're still thinking about Nikki Haley's comment about never been a racist country. I think she needs to look up the Emmett Till story. Thank you very much.
Damn, she did not like that. This guy always with the phone. Yeah, I was going to quote tweet like a dude, a random dude.
Okay, let's do this. Ooh, okay.
That one guy, Armand Dostoevsky or whatever on Twitter, he's so mad. I love liberals being like just as racist as Republicans, but trying to do it in like a liberal way. And it is, I guess, a little bit less hollow because like they present themselves as like genuinely people who are anti-racist, usually when it comes to domestic affairs. Whereas like the Republicans don't do that. So obviously when a liberal person says something along the lines of like, yes, this person is a 19-year-old from Yemen, but they're actually a slaver genocidaire, as a 19-year-old who spent like a decade of his life under a brutal blockade that American NGOs have also claimed is genocide correctly. Honestly, man, San Francisco liberals are insufferable. Yeah. It's giving real, we got to bomb Afghanistan to save the Afghan women energy.
We're going to go.
Yep.
Armand gets pissed if you call him a liberal. He thinks he's a leftist. He's such a piece of shit. Yeah. What is it? Armando. What was his name? Hold on. Armand Dostoevsky.
Oh,
Can I find
this, dude?
I'm trying to find the tweet that he had.
Motherfuckers that read. No thanks.
Don't think it's Dostoevsky.
No reading. None of that shit. Okay.
Oh, it's Domaluski. Just 5,000 likes on just pure. God, this guy tweets so much. Oh my God, these dudes do nothing but post.
I read it, Beetle.
But yeah, I love having a incredible 5,000 like banger tweet on just like pure unadulterated racism. Okay, but liberally. Okay. It's pretty funny that Houthi pirates take their cues from a pirate anime in the same way the mafia guys take their cues from The Godfather and The Sopranos. Wait, what? No, that's not the one. Oh, that one didn't bang as hard. Where's the other one? Didn't I just see? He posted twice about it. Oh, here it is. He like couldn't get enough of it. Sure, he may be a fan of shooting random civilians, shooting random civilian merchants, child soldiers, slavery, and cursing the Jews. But did you know he also loves anime? Yeah. Farming the same screenshot too. He's 19, meaning he spent most of his life getting bombed by Saudis with the full support of the U.S. Now he sees the same thing happening to
Hazan? Oh, it's just me.
Supporting a bad cause, given all he's ever known as being bombed by Saudis backed by the U.S., but it's ridiculous for Hassan to promote him. You're right. I should actually instead advocate for his demise under the hands of American-guided munitions, which is what you're doing, but in a liberal way.
No one actually reads, okay?
I like sometimes showing tweets like this. I know you're going to say like, oh, don't
Twitter doesn't
don't
fucking
feed
exist.
into the hatred, but I realize that a lot of people
Elon Musk
legitimately
bought
think I'm
nothing.
making this up. Oftentimes when I talk about like what I see online.
Oh, let's go. Okay.
Some of it is so gross that people genuinely go, liberals don't say that stuff. Well, this guy's a liberal.
Let's think.
Here you go.
Love me, love me, love me. I'm a liberal.
What does promoting him mean? Does he think that your subs will join the Houthis now? That is the point. The point is that humanizing a person from Yemen, okay, who is not like actively a part of, I guess,
It is basically like witch.
like Saudi
I'm not even kidding.
coalition.
It's literally just like witch shit, like being like a witch, burn her, don't platform the witch. Like it is literally that. Like insane,
right? That's the real issue for liberals. It's not even a real issue because they obviously align with Saudi Arabia, who has similar perspectives as well, right? Or many other Gulf nation states. The real issue is that they want to do the bombing, and this gives them, in their minds, some level of like moral permission to do the bombing. Were we not supposed to do the Houthis? I'm already to the Grand Line. Yeah. The thing I hate the most about liberal hawks is their incurious attitude they have towards the victims of empire. Every atrocity that's ever been committed was justified by demonizing the victims, but you're just lucky enough to live in the first empire where it was all true. Exactly. I get racist. I hate them, but I understand them. I do not understand being this stupid. You're not even curious about this. Just don't get it. Yeah, man. Every Arab is just evil and hates America because we are too cool.
just too cool, dude.
The funniest part is always turning around and being like, well, oh, dude, you wouldn't have an interview like this with a Nazi.
Got him.
And the irony there, okay, is that I know the positions of an American Nazi. You don't know if this guy's a Nazi at all. You just assume that he is, okay? But I know the positions of a Western Nazi, okay? I deal with them regularly.
Let me think. I want this guy.
I deal with them regularly.
Be behind here.
And I want them to not be Nazis as well. And I will talk them off a ledge when they have at least a moment of charitability. There are plenty of people here. There are plenty of people here in this community that formerly used to have reactionary perspectives. Okay?
Love me, love me, love me.
I, however,
I'm a
do
liberal.
not know the framework or the living conditions of a dude in Yemen. And I think there is genuine journalistic value in talking to a dude living in Yemen.
We're out of time.
Okay? That's it. And people are more mad that I
Just
didn't
calling
just like
someone Nazi
racistly
is a
try
sir.
to pin
That's the most finished thing I've heard happening all day. That's the most finished thing I've heard all day.
Onto a random 19-year-old and simply asked questions on whether or not he was a part of the any kind of militancy.
Really stupid to have that thing in the back.
What his ethnic background was, what his opinions were on regional actors against Yemen. I did that.
No, Kaz is finished.
And I think that that was the right thing to do. And then I talked to him like a person. I even asked him what his perspective is on anti-Zionist Jews in America. Right? That's the real problem. That's the real issue. The real issue is that it humanized the person that you don't want to put a face to. It's much easier to continue championing bombing a person without really looking at...
Okay, I'm not going to be able to play Subnautica because my electricity's going off in 50 minutes. I want to, but it'll have to be tomorrow. I'm sorry. I have to do stuff. You know?
Yeah.
me,
Anyway.
love me, love me. I'm a liberal.
But yeah. Are the things that tweet was accusing the Houthi guy of liking child soldiers Israel actually things that he said? Or just stereotypes of things that he said? Sorry, I missed some of the interview. No, he never mentioned any of those things. Okay?
If they can find all you guys love stable electricity, that is true. Not even kidding, that's fucking true, dude. It's fine. It's state-managed meditation time. Okay.
Conservatives or empathetic.
That's literally fucking true. They'll find a way.
Chat, he's ESL chill. Wait, what did I write wrong? Did I write empathetic wrong? No, I didn't. Have you heard about the bored Chinese housewife who modified Wikipedia and spread Russian propaganda because she was bored? I did not, but that sounds really funny. What surprised you most after talking to him? Not much. I guess his, like, indifference. His indifference to bombing.
Wow, I'm holding on. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh.
Okay. Go on an unsubstantiated rant. I think you couldn't get him to open up. Yeah, I mean, it's understandable. He was probably...
Living on a prayer. Take my hand.
Probably a mental coping
make
mechanism.
It, I swear. Oh.
Yeah. People just run with the craziest theories based on their race and Islamophobic beliefs. I read some YouTube comments and was surprised how they even came up to those claims. The young man was a great communicator and passionate about the cause. Yeah. I will not. How dare I humanize him? Love when libs present themselves as intellectually superior to conservatives or empathetic. Oh, fuck. I don't want to hit the 280. Racist rant about how a 19-year-old Arab dude from Yemen is a fan of child soldiers and slavery when he never said anything of the sort. How dare I humanize him? There you go.
Yeah, how dare you humanize humans? Don't you know that we have, well, like, you shouldn't do that.
That's a good tweet.
Insane.
Did it. We did it. We posted it.
How dare you humanize human beings?
Hit tweet though, man. You got 5,000 fucking racist monsters Hey, I'm not trying to drama farm. Genuinely don't understand Emma's comment on your tweet. She's being sarcastic, making fun of liberals who have been saying that. I don't know. I feel like their whole issue is that you humanize them. I don't know if that'll move the needle. That is accurate if he supports the Houthi terrorists. Even that part is also inaccurate for the record.
No, it's completely inaccurate.
Like, I like that we're just like there are many different varying degrees.
You don't solve terrorism
just people
by dehumanizing terrorists.
To basically lend support to people.
If you don't understand why people are doing terrorism, you can't solve it. Now, I'm not advocating for it at all. I'm not even saying like what I think that they. You know what? I'm not going to go into like that sort of stuff. But if you just think the to solve the thing is to just be like, yep, whatever, fuck it. This makes me so angry.
You don't personally believe that every single American is a Nazi, right? Even though American empire has done Nazi-style death and destruction
Very good
globally.
example.
Okay. Why would any Yemeni citizen not support the Houthis currently? It's the same principle behind Hamas. It's the same exact principle behind Hamas. People are like, wow, I can't believe the poorest country that England literally maintained its like slavery practices on until 1960. Abolished slavery in 1967.
Yep.
Okay. And then the internal conflict that occurred with an unpopular leadership that a sect took advantage of that led to a major escalation and genocide by America's regional proxies upon this country has led to complete collapse. The assumption,
Well done,
assumption
Rick.
that
Okay.
people in Yemen.
All right. I need to go. I love you all. I've got some stuff I need to do. I've got some stuff people I need to chat to, and all of that. I'll see you all tomorrow. All right. I'm gonna send you to Devon. Be nice to Devon. All right. Half day. Well, you know. Stay cool, stay good, stay, I know you're kidding. I'm just too tired to, like, come up with a witty response. Okay, don't worry. Jason, like, I think you guys motherfuckers know it's not, it's pretty difficult to, like, get me upset about things like that. You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes I snap, but only when people are being bigoted. Or, like, purposefully obtuse. Thank you for the stream. Well, yep. Thank you. Another one done. You can hear how tired I am. I'm just like absolutely rambling at this point. I need to talk to some people about emotes. I need to check out a few other things. Ren, if you're still listening, I'm probably not going to chat to you tonight about the SAP thing. We can do that tomorrow because I'm just tired. All right. Bye, everyone.